Alright everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the Parramatta Eels new signings for 2021. Before I get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm up to 334 subscribers at the moment, trying to get to 350 by the end of November, so your help would be greatly appreciated. Now, getting into the signings for 2021 for Parramatta. At the end of this year, the club's released about 10 to 11 players. Some of them were in the top 17, some of them were in the top 30, some of them were developmental players. And so far, the club's been very busy in the off-season so far, signing about 6 or 7 players. And I'm going to go through every player and just tell you what I think of the signing. And we'll start with the first player, which is Michael Oldfield. Now, I've always called Michael Oldfield the ultimate reserve grader because he's played for 6 NRL clubs and he's also played over in the Super League with Le Catalan. Now, in total, if you would add all the reserve grade teams he's played for as well, North Sydney, Mounties, Newtown, he's played for 9 different clubs in Australia. Now, I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but I think with Michael Oldfield, he's been very unlucky in his career where it just seems every club that he goes to, they've already got established wingers or centres or fullbacks there, and he's always just been looked at as a fill-in, and that was the case at Canberra. Now, I don't see Michael Oldfield getting much game time in 2021 unless there's an injury to Sivo or Ferguson, so he'll be playing most of the year in the New South Wales Cup. The next signing, Keegan Hipgrave. He's played a total of 40 NRL games in his career, all at the Gold Coast. Keegan Hipgrave, he's kind of reminds me of Nathan Brown. He runs 100 mile an hour. He puts his body on the line. He doesn't really care if he gets injured. He was released at the end of this year by the Gold Coast with signing. One thing that's concerning though about Keegan Hipgrave is that he was almost medically retired before the start of 2020. He's had multiple concussions throughout his career because of the way that he plays, and I think Hipgrave, he's either going to be playing for the New South Wales Cup team or he'll most likely come off the bench. I don't see him being a starter for the Parramatta side in 2021. The next player is Nathaniel Roach. Now, he signed a developmental contract. He's played 26 first grade games since 2016, all of them with New Zealand. Nathaniel Roach kind of reminds me of like a Kaiser Pritchard, where he's just getting constantly injured and he's had a very bad stretch of injuries. So I think Nathaniel Roach, you won't be seeing him play for Parramatta in 2021 in the first grade side unless there's catastrophic injuries and we need to throw someone in there. The next player is Will Smith. He's re-signed on a 1-year deal. Now, the thing with Will Smith, I've never been a fan of him. I think Will Smith knows deep down in his heart that he's always just going to be a fill-in and he's always going to be jumping between reserve grade and first grade. So I think you'll only see Will Smith this year if the club has injuries or they need somebody to come in over the origin period or whatever. The next player is Tom Opacek. Now, he's played 43 games for Brisbane and North Queensland. He was released this year from North Queensland. He signed a 1-year deal. He plays wing and centre. Now, I think he's been signed to replace Michael Jennings. I know that might be an unpopular opinion. I think unless the club fails to make any other signs, I think Tom Opacek is probably going to be the starting centre for Parramatta in 2021. I've heard that his attack isn't that great, but his defence is all right. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in the Parramatta side, but I think it's a decent signing, Tom Opacek. It's not the worst signing. The next player is Isaiah Papali, or Papali. I think it's Papali. Now, he's played 59 first grade games in his career, all with New Zealand. He's 22-year-old. He's mainly plays as a second rower. He's signed a 2-year deal. I think this is a good signing. I think it's going to put pressure on the starting second rowers and it's going to bring a bit of competition to the team selection. So I think Isaiah Papali is a good signing. The next player, Joey Lussick. Now, he's, I think, Darcy Lussick's brother. He started his career at Manly, but he only ever got the 1 first grade match for them. And then he's been over here in England for the last couple of years. He's played 59 games for Salford. Now, I've been told that this is quite a handy signing. He plays at hooker. I think if Reid Marnie goes down, or Reid Marnie needs a bit of time on the sidelines or needs a breather, Lussick can certainly fill in there. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes in 2021. But I'd see that that's a decent signing. And then the last signing is Bryce Cartwright. So he signed a 1-year deal. He's played 112 first grade matches for Penrith and the Gold Coast before coming to Parramatta. Now for Bryce Cartwright, I don't know what you think of him out there, the people that watch this video, but I've never liked Bryce Cartwright as a person. He come out of the scene as probably a future New South Wales player. He was actually quite good for Penrith, but the last couple of years he's gone right downhill. He's had a lot of off-field things not go right with him. I'd say that he's still got blood on his hands from the death of his ex-girlfriend, but I'll leave that for another time. But Bryce Cartwright, this is definitely his last chance. This is his last chance saloon. If he doesn't make a good impression this year with Parramatta, or if he does anything daft off the field, that's his career over. Or he might have to come to England. He might have to come here. It's an interesting signing. Maybe Brad Arthur might be able to turn his career around. I'm not too sure. I'm very sceptical of it. I think Bryce Cartwright might spend the year going between reserve grade and first grade. I think he might spend the year, maybe the first couple of weeks of the year in reserve grade, just to get some match fitness and practice and all that key, because I think he didn't get many games at the Gold Coast in his final year. So it's an interesting signing. I'm not particularly pleased with it, but I mean, I don't have any say in who the club signed. So they've signed Bryce Cartwright. Now, I think when the clubs made these signings, I think Brad Arthur has looked at the 17 players, or the top 13 players, the team that goes out every week, and he said to himself, I've got the players that I want to take this club forward. I've got the players from 1 through to 17. And most of these players that have been signed, they're mainly just going to be backup players. I don't think any of these players, maybe Tom Opacek, maybe Isaiah Papali, they'll probably get the most game time out of all these Parramatta players, but I think the rest of them are going to mainly be backup just in case of an injury. I think Brad Arthur has told the players this before they sign the contract, that you're most likely going to be a fringe first grader. He might get a couple of games. We'll see how we go. But that's my thoughts on the new Parramatta signings for 2021 so far. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think of the signings that Parramatta have made? I'd say if I was to give it a score from E to D, I'd probably give these signings a C, or maybe a C+. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like it. And if you have not yet subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe so you get all my latest videos when they're released. Anyways, everyone, I'm going to get out of here, and I hope you will all enjoy your Monday. Alright, catch us all later. Ta-ra.